God, in Isaiah 43 says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine." We are His, but we went our own way. We tried to live our own lives, but of ourselves we are nothing. But with Him, and in Him, and by Him, and for Him, we are more than conquerors. We are warriors for Him. He goes on to say in the same chapter of Isaiah, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you, for I am the Lord your God." Did you catch that? God is not going to protect you from going through fire or storms, but He will protect you when you are in fire and storms. He calls you out onto the waves. He calls you out into the water. He calls you out into the fire for His name's sake, so dead men can be raised by His power. So how do you pray? Do you pray for deliverance from suffering, or do you pray for strength amidst suffering? Are you going to wuss out of what God has for your life and your family and your marriage, or will you take what He brings your way? Take it with your arms lifted and on your knees before your holy God. What if He calls you to die to your sin? What if He calls you to die to yourself? He says, "You are mine." And Paul replies to such a statement by asking, "Do you not know what your body is? Do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own?" God says, "You are mine." God through Paul says, "You are not your own." Do you get it now? No calling of God is too high for you. No mission for God is too wild for you. No message of God is too hard for you. No death to sin and self is too painful for you. It's not painful enough. Christ took your pain. Christ took your suffering. And you complain about a bad back, sore muscles, and a headache? No. Paul goes on and says, "For you were bought at a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." You've been bought. This means you can be a son. And yes, you are a son of God, but you are also a slave of Christ. Or are you not bought? Or are you not redeemed? Show it. Prove it. Live it. A warrior of God, the beloved Apostle John, formerly known as the Son of Thunder, writes, "You are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world." So while John and Paul say we are of God and we are God's, look at what Paul writes to the Galatians. "And those who are Christ's have crucified the flesh with its passions and its desires." What? Man of God, have you crucified the flesh with its passions and its desires, its lusts and envies and boastings and evil strivings? Have you? When was the last time you sinned against your God? Why did you do that? A passion? A desire? Why did you think that? Why did you say that? Because you have an enemy. That is he who lives in the world. That is the world. That is what comes at you daily, through your phones, through your works, through your school, everything, everywhere. The enemy is trying to get your soul and your faith and your family, but you do not have to bow to his temptations. You can stand strong in the power of your high priest and in the power of the Holy Spirit, the ghost of Christ that lives in you and can live in you more and more and more and more if you pray to him and ask. Spirit, come upon this man right now. Fill him. Fight for him. Fight through him. Give him the nails so he can crucify his sin daily.